Hello, Flosstube friends. Angelica here, Rose Red Crafts. Welcome, welcome. Today is Friday, January 31st. Um, my little is in, my little's awake and you'll probably hear him making noise and watching videos in the back, as well as my roommate's littles. Um, Most of the time I can drown them out, but I will catch them when I'm editing. So, side note, I'm so bummed. I haven't been able to find the remote for my lights for over a week now. So, I've been looking, and I'm sure my little walked off with it. So, I just have to check his his uh, toy baskets. So, if you're new to my channel and missed my whip parade, because most other channels posted theirs around New Year's, I posted mine back in November, right before Thanksgiving, because as soon as Thanksgiving hits, I'm usually busy for the rest of the year. So, um, yeah, and I intend on posting my whip parade this year around the same time. So last year for 2024, I had a goal of posting end of the month videos where instead of every 2 weeks, like the typical Flosstuber, I do it once a month at the end of the month and do like an end of the month wrap up. And I did really well. I think I did most. I think I only skipped 1 month, and that was June. I skipped June's because I wasn't really stitching that month, anyways. And then obviously I didn't do a December wrap up because this is my first time getting to record all January, and it's the end of the month. And it's ironic because I wasn't going to do end of the month wrap ups this year. Instead, I was going to do post floss tubes every 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how much stitching I get done, and then doing a quarterly wrap up. So every quarter, every 3 months, I would post like a quarterly wrap up to see what I've been doing and if I'm reaching my goals for the year. And that was inspired by last year, Crafty Gaming Jamie did a Q1 update, and I've been inspired since then to include that. So that's the plan for this year. So as I said, January is over, and in a series of unfortunate events and some serious brain fog, I have not been able to record all month. And it's been a long time since my last floss tube, so I have a lot to talk about. I have a ton of notes. I really want to make sure that I touch on everything that I had made notes for. In the past, I've felt like my videos are too long and I'll cut off something I was really passionate about, and then when I go and make another video, I assumed that I had already talked about the previous subject. So I think today this is probably going to be my longest video to date because I want to make sure that I catch everything that I had made notes for. So and because I didn't do an end of 2024 wrap up or a 2025 plans, that'll also be included in today's video. So my last official floss tube was at the end of November because in December I attempted Flossmas for the first time. For Flossmas, I'd made a list of 24 projects, which consisted of one whip, a couple of purchased patterns, and a bunch of freebies. So each day I was going to spin a project to work on and post daily updates. But right after posting my first day, I immediately got sick. I lost my voice. It was a whole thing. So I struggled to make consistent updates for the rest of the month. But I was able to end it on time with like a Flossmas wrap up. Here's everything I had touched. This year for Flossmas, I do intend on doing Flossmas again, but I'm going to break it up. Instead of doing dailies, I'm either going to do once a week or every 5 days. And I'll decide that by Thanksgiving time. If you followed me during Flossmas, you might have seen my struggle with how many projects I actually had planned. As I was gathering my notes for my end of the year wrap up, which I didn't end up doing, I found my official list that I had forgotten that I'd made for all the projects. So first off on this list was Fairy House by Owl Forest Embroidery. This was what I planned to stitch on the piece of 25 count that I accidentally started Plum Street's 12 Days of Christmas on. But I realized after dyeing the fabric that that chart contained specialty stitches, and I decided to postpone starting that for now. I still want to work on that fairy house, but just not right now. So instead of adding another project to my list, I decided to give Aurora Cabin an extra day. Then, about halfway through the month, I realized that one, I had a piece of black 14 count Ada put aside, and I wasn't sure what it went to. I thought maybe it went to, I thought maybe I had decided to use it for another 12 days of Christmas. It was 12 Days of Christmas from Gazette something. But because I had that listed as a possible start, but I didn't add it to my list, and so when I saw the 14 count, I was second guessing myself whether or not I thought I was going to start it. So yeah, I didn't know what that fabric went to. Then I went to spin the wheel one time, and I realized that Yule was listed as a project, and I assumed it was referring to the Yule Sow by Witch's Garden Crafts. But when I looked at my notes, or when I found my notes, it was actually supposed to be Yule, which is a Witchy Stitcher Patreon chart. It was part of the, I think, 12 Days of Stitchmas. Is that what it was? Creepmas? 12 Days of Creepmas, maybe? But anyways, it was a Witchy Stitcher Patreon chart. So that's what that black fabric was actually meant for. So on December 22nd, I finished my HAED Sal, which I showed on Flossmas, but I chose Merry Mushroom 2, the Rainbow Mushroom, which is a recharted crop of Amy Stewart's Merry Mushroom Village Picnic, which is available on the Heaven and Earth Designs website. Here's my finish. I had done this 2/1 tent on 20 count. Yeah, 20 count. I was second guessing myself. I do like the coverage. This is the coverage I wanted. I know a lot of people think that is too thin and they like it chunkier. I like it more delicate. So this project dominated my stitchy time last year, and got a whopping 71 days according to Notions. And obviously that also depends on how I entered all my information at the time. So put that there for now. So, because I was able to complete it by the deadline, not only did I get the other charts available for the SAL, but I was able to pick 2 charts off the website. I started the year off pretty confident in that I was going to choose Why, When, and Who by Bob Dosett, and then an Amy Stewart chart. I hadn't nailed it down which one I was going to pick, but I was pretty sure I was leaning towards Vintage Baker because I love the cherry pie in the corner, but the rest of the pattern's kind of pale, and I don't know if I would be if I would lose interest in that. Anyways, by the end of the year, I wasn't excited for these charts anymore and thought, what in my wish list would I be most disappointed over if they were retired? And I ended up choosing At the Threshold of Oblivion by Chris Ortega and Night at the Drive-In by Jeff Haney. So the week after Christmas and Flossmas wrapped up, I focused on this diamond painting. My goal was to have this done by New Year's, but I didn't, obviously, and I've only given it one day 5-hour session this month of January. So I don't think this is going to be done by my birthday, which is next week. So I also thought that I would have my plans finalized, all my goals that I wanted to make. I thought they would be finalized by New Year's because I had spent 3 months. I started planning for my New Year goals back in September, October. So I really thought that the week between Christmas and New Year's I would have it finalized. I had an idea of what sort of goals I wanted to make, but I was struggling to conceive it as a whole. And then ultimately I created several obtainable goals, but when combined, they're not so obtainable. But I'm going to do what I can when I can and try not to stress over self-imposed deadlines and all or nothing thinking. So after New Year's, I'd given myself until my husband went back to work to gather up all my notes so I can make my 2024 wrap up and 2025 plans videos. But we, my husband included, which has never happened before, severely messed up our sleep schedule. Mostly because we had started playing Withering Waves, which was just released on PlayStation on January 1st. And it was all-encompassing for the first 2 weeks of January. So Withering Waves is, or WUWA for short, is a free open-world RPG gacha game from Kuro Games. My family and I already play 3 other gacha games, Zenless, Star Rail, and Genshin Impact, all from Hoyoverse. Real quick, if you're not familiar with gacha games, these games update every 6 weeks with new content, story, events, and characters. You build up energy to complete tasks, usually needed to upgrade your characters. And ideally, you'd want to log on daily for certain tasks. If you're all caught up with the game and story, usually it only takes a few minutes. And if you can't log on daily, you want to log on at least once a week to do the weekly tasks, because everything's time gated. I burnt myself out playing these games back in the summer because I was juggling the 3 Hoyo games not only for on my account, but also on my husband's account while he was at work. So Zenless is my least favorite out of the 3 games. So I haven't touched that one since I got burnt out. But I just spent 2 days getting all caught up on the main story. But I missed out on a lot of content, like limited time content and characters, because I hadn't been playing it. So, and this year my goal is to make a chart to keep track of all the updates for the games that I play, so that I don't fall behind on any main story again or miss out on limited time content. And that's it for my gaming tangent. So let's get to the cross stitch. I'm going to start with some of my stats for 2024. Also, my little has just dumped out his toys, so I'm not sure how noisy that's going to be. I think he's playing with blocks right now, wood blocks. I have a camera on him so I could see him, even though because he's out of, I can't see him this way, so I have a camera there. Anyways, so 2024 a couple 2024 stats. I started 2024 with 14 whips and had planned on 15 new starts. I actually started 45 projects. 23 of those were naturally, and 22 was from Flossmas. And I got 14 finishes. Whips I'm bringing into 2025 is 48. 21 of those are from Flossmas. I ended the year with approximately 200,000 stitches. In June and December, I didn't count any stitches, so doing a rough estimate of how much I got done, I definitely hit the 200,000 mark. Of the whips, only of the whips that I'm bringing into 2025, so nothing that I finished last year, and we're not counting Flossmas whips. 6 whips received less than 1,000 stitches last year. 15 whips received more than 1,000 but less than 5,000. 5 whips received more than 5,000 but less than 10,000. And only 2 whips received more than 10,000 stitches. And of those whips that I'm bringing into 2025, the whip that received the most total stitches and the most worked on days was No Time Like the Present from Modern Folk Embroidery. That was their 2024 sal. It got 13 days and 16,366 stitches. So now, before I move on to plans, I'm going to show you what I worked on in January. So first off, I had intended on picking up my Pokemon for New Year's Day and working on it for a couple of days. And then I was going to do participate in Allison, Allison's Princess Birthday Sal, Allison from Cross Stitch the Globe. I was going to start my Beauty and the Beast. I've showed that before in the past. I have one of the Thomas Kincaid Beauty and the Beast kits. I bought it years before I started cross stitching, and it's just been collecting dust. So I was going to go ahead and start that, but I didn't want it to be the first project I picked up for the year. I really wanted Pokemon to be the first project I picked up. But by the time, because I was so absorbed in playing the game with my family, I didn't get around to stitching for over a week, and by that time I lost any desire to pick up Beauty and the Beast. So by the time I had stitchy time in January, I decided to pick up Lost Soul by Selina Fenech. It's the Story Keep version from HAED. The full version was licensed by Geeks last year, if you're interested in the image. I should probably pull it out. There is a needle on it because I was in the middle of a thread when I put it down. Anyways, also, I do have start picks today. But I don't typically add starting picks in my normal Flosstubes, but I did spend a day taking start picks of all my projects on New Year's. Okay. Lost Soul. Okay. Here's my progress on that. Lost Soul got 6 days and 2,030 stitches, and she is at 6.4% complete. I'm working on this blue sky confetti. I will probably be in it for a while. I think the blue goes all the way across, and then I think it's like mirror. I believe this whole section will be like a mirrored section because she's between two buildings. So I'm pretty sure the other side's going to look the same. And I started with this one because I was afraid I was going to get bored of this one and want to put it down. But of the projects I worked on this month, this is the only one that I didn't want to set down. Yeah, I wasn't ready to put this down, but I knew I needed to work on other projects. So that's why the needle is still on here. Because I thought I was going to pick it up again. I mean, I am going to pick it up again, but I thought I was going to pick it up again this month. But it only got, I only worked on it first. I will unzip, but then I won't zip back up. Next, I worked on Pokemon Gen 1 from Lord Libidan. Here is my progress for that. Here's where I'm at currently. Here's where I worked on. I didn't realize I got so much done on him. So, Pokemon. It got 4 days. I put in 2,092 stitches. It is currently at 22.7% complete, but I also have it marked off for the background because I dyed the fabric. So, so I was really flying and enjoying getting all the progress done on coughing and wheezing, and apparently Rhyhorn also, because I don't remember finishing him. So it must have been the next one that I started to lose the steam on. But 4 days, that's almost a whole Pokemon a day. I think I was trying to fill in as much color as possible before, because there was some more black that opened up, I think. So, oh no, I just wasn't sure which direction I wanted to go in, because this was such a clean break right here underneath them, that I didn't want to go down. I wanted to go sideways and get all of this done. So anyways, what did I work on next? Next I worked on Treasures by Enys Guerrero. She's in the blue bag. I had pulled it out because it was part of temperature stitching, and I started working on it on a Friday stream from Rachel Ray on Twitch. I think because she usually streams on Thursdays, and I think something came up, and so she postponed that stream for Friday. Because I remember it being 24 hours across stitch weekend. So, well, let me show you my progress. Here's where she's at. So I had pulled this out for temperature stitching, as I said, and I really was only intending on getting enough stitches to meet my temperature stitching goal and then work on my diamond painting. But I woke up early the next morning. It was too early to start the diamond painting. So this was still ready to go. So I just kept working on this. That was Saturday morning. And then it just got to a point where I was working on this, and I was just motivated to get all the 310 done on these bottom 2 pages. Because I have all the corners marked, all the page breaks. I have all the page breaks marked. So I just wanted to get all the 310 done in this area. And even though I flew through all this 310, well, this is 4 days of work. 4 days. I worked on this for 4 days. I got 6,797 tent stitches, and I'm at 22.7% complete with this chart. So I know that I flew through this 310, but the confetti is going. Doing her skin took forever, and I have her arm and her whole back to do, so that's going to be a pain in the butt. So I will probably juggle between confetti and black, but try to keep it kind of equal. I'll probably change my mind a million times, but so after that, the next project I pulled out was Princess Belle, also by Enys Guerrero, and from Thread Geeks. And she only got 1 day, and yeah, she only got 1 day this time. So here's my progress. It was 1 day, but it was 1,000. 1,378 tent stitches, and this is at 5% complete. I don't have anything special to talk about on this one. I was surprised that I thought I had only done some of the 310 on this first page, and then realized that there was actually some like navy and gray already started. So there is color in this section, and there is some more 310, but it's like farther out. So I just wasn't feeling it when I pulled this out. I just wasn't really in the mood to work on this. I did hit my temperature sal goal for the month, so I just put it away. And the last whip that I worked on in January is Melisandre from Maxine Gadd. And here is where I'm at on her. She got 4 days. She got 4 days and 2,178 tent stitches. And she is sitting at 1.9% complete. If you can see, notice this confetti right here. A lot of this pattern is like that, so it is very confetti heavy. I feel like I didn't get a lot done, but it's just like I had this leaf started, this leaf. It started and it just kind of filling it in, but also spreading out with it. So I was really trying to get all of these 3 sections. I wanted to get those all filled in. Yeah, that was my goal. But there's so much confetti that this project really drags. I struggle to want to pick it up. I think it's all the oranges, that I just only could handle all this orange so much at a time. But she will be getting a lot of attention this year. So I will finally see some more progress on her later on. So that's everything that I touched on in January. So now I'm going to go over plans. I went back and forth over what my stitching goals would be this year, and I won't over explain my process today, but I started making plans back in September, mostly over Wipagories, how I was going to set the goals for that. I think I spent a good month coming up with my plans, and I'm pretty content with them. I haven't updated the plans. I haven't updated the rules on that. The only thing I'm dragging my feet on was deciding which projects to assign to which spaces on the game. So I will do that when I'm ready to start it. And when I am ready to start it, hopefully sooner than later, when I am ready to start it, it'll get its own dedicated video, Flosstube Extra. I also knew that I was going to be doing temperature stitching, but I wasn't sure what else I was going to do going into the new year, because I had intended on not participating in Wipgo, not participating in Fandom. I wasn't sure what else I wanted to do. So I did end up deciding on my goals, and some of them overlap with each other, but I figure if I focused on this goal, then some of this goal will get accomplished, and vice versa. So what I ended up doing is I took my 5 largest whips that I had all the floss for and decided those would be my temperature whips. And those 5 whips are what I just showed you. That's why I worked on those, because of temperature stitching. I really want those 5 projects to be my focus pieces for the year, and hopefully reach a goal of 10,000 stitches by the end of the year on each of those. And then everything else that I have, all my other whips, or new starts for the year, since they won't be focus pieces, I'm giving myself maybe 2,500 stitch goal for the year. So, but I'm pretty good at touching everything. I didn't miss anything last year, but there was a few that only got like one day. So I want to make sure that everything gets touched, and preferably have at least 2,000 to 3,000 stitches for the year. But with Wipagories, that should keep all my projects moving. And then stitching, temperature stitching would keep a focus on my main projects. So in addition to stacking up on top of my focus goals of 10,000 per project, I also am going to try to push for 25,000 stitch by the end of the year on 2 of those, for Lost Soul and Pokemon. Lost Soul is my only full coverage, full cross project, and Pokemon is my oldest whip. So yes, they have a goal for 10,000, but they also have a goal for 25,000. So that's what I mean by some of the goals overlap. I decided to do this 25,000 goal because of full coverage Fanatics. They're 25 and 25 challenge. So I joined full coverage Fanatics last summer, but hadn't really participated in any of the events. I thought that I might do the Zodiac ones this year, but I don't like prompts where I have to explain my thought process. So that's why I decided, well, I did, then that, so I kind of decided at the last minute to just go ahead and attempt the 25,000 stitches on a project. And I may change my mind later. There may be a time where I just want to go ahead and participate in one of the Zodiac ones. We'll see. Anyways, to maintain a goal, to be able to reach, for me to be able to reach 25,000 stitches by the end of the year, I need to maintain 2,000 stitches a month on each project. So I know that I said it a million times last year that I was going to not participate in Fandom for another year. I had already done it for the last 2 years, and it was really stressful on me. But in the last minute of December, I just decided I wasn't doing anything else, and I'm already watching Doctor Who, so I might as well just join in. So I am participating with Fandom this year on Team Companions. I'm already watching Doctor Who. Might as well get points for it. Also, the changes that they made for this year aligned with my plans. Specifically, the 25 for 25 challenge, where you choose 25 projects and stitch 2,050 stitches on each over the course of the year. And that's already my goal. Like, you see what I'm saying? That was already the plan, is to get at least 2,000 stitches on all my projects. And then more on my focus projects. So I might as well go ahead and stick with it. But for now, I'm only focusing on the watch prompts and the weekly prompts if I can. I'm not going to stress over it. I am not going to, as of right now, I don't want to do any of the monthly challenges. Again, unless they align with what I already have going on. Wipgo. I've been trying to incorporate Wipgo into my plans for 3 years, but I've never followed through. As of right now, at the end of January, I have, because I made a few changes since the beginning of the month, I have one Wipgo board. It contains all of my projects that I worked on for Flossmas. So instead of making the traditional bingo board, what I did was I listed everything. I just made a list of all of those projects and assigned them numbers. And then as they get called, that's how I work on them. Because getting the bingos doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to award myself anything for whenever I get a bingo. It's just a prompt to pick a project. So I'm only setting myself a goal of 200 stitches per call. And then I think that I will do a Christmas in July week. Since I don't have anything else going on in July, I'll just do a Christmas. And I usually don't, I'm not a Christmas in July type of person, but since I'm doing my Christmas projects for Wipgo, maybe I will have a dedicated week in July to catch up on anything that I missed. For example, January is over and I never touched the 2 projects that were called. So that's in my plans. Other games. Some other games that I'm going to keep my eye on each month, and play along when I can. But they're not high priorities. Is Wipagories, which is from Sammy J. Pick-a-wip by Marjorie Maid, and I Spy by Laura from Stitching by the Shore. So 2025 year at a glance. Any games that I play, such as Temperature Stitching, Whipopoly, or any other games, I only have those planned through September. So January through September. After that, October is Halloween stitching, spooky stitching, or I've been a member. I've been a Patreon of the Witchy Stitcher for a while now, so I have a bunch of Witchy Stitcher patterns that I want to work on. So those type of things I'll be doing in October. November, I would be playing catch up on any goals that I haven't met that I want to. And then also November is when I would do my whip parade and prep for Flossmas. And then December is Flossmas stitching, January prep, and my 2025 wrap up. Also, like I think I said earlier, instead of doing monthly end of month reviews, or instead of doing a monthly wrap up, I will start doing quarterly wrap ups. So April, July, and October at the beginning of the month, around the 1st, I would be talking about the previous 3 months and how my goals are going. I do have a mid-year whip parade scheduled for July on my calendar, and I have some new starts planned. I think I think only 2 or 3 are scheduled for a specific date, and then the rest are just as naturally how I want to work on them. So plan new starts in no particular order. First off, there's 2 projects, 2 possible new starts that I had planned that I'm not sure if I'm going to actually do or not. And that is the Peppermint Purple 2025 Sal Stitch Along and the Steady Thread 2025 Sal. I had intended on starting both of those this month, but I really haven't decided what look I want to do, what color fabric, what color thread. I really want to be mindful of how I approach those. So I don't know if I'm going to start those or not. I obviously didn't start them this month. I don't know if I'm going to get around to it, but I'm still going to put them in as possible plans. So that's why I want to start those first on this list. So I also already mentioned that I have Patreon charts from the Witchy Stitcher, and I will probably start those in October. Country Magic Stitch. Last year, I bought a bunch of patterns off their website, their Etsy page, and I intend on starting 3 of them this year. I'm going to do the TARDIS, Nublar, and Tatooine. Tatooine is scheduled to start on May 1st because of Star Wars week. I think I made Star Wars week 3 weeks long last year, so I know that I'll be in Star Wars mode for at least 1 week, possibly 2, but then I'll probably get burnt out by then. So but I will be starting Tatooine during that time because I bought the whole Star Wars set from them. I did give my husband the option to choose which one to start with, and I was already leaning towards Tatooine. He agreed, so that's where we're starting. But the TARDIS and the Nublar, I don't know when I'm going to start those. I kind of have an idea. I want to do them in the spring, both of them kind of springtime. But I'll probably just wait until the time feels right. Wings of Change. This was a chart from last year's needlework, whatever, the March thing. It was released in March. I was obsessed with it, and I just felt like I needed to start it for my mom. And I wanted to do a full color conversion and make it really personalized for her, but I'm just not that creative. I need some kind of inspiration, and I don't know. I really like it the way it is now, or how it's charted. Now obviously I'm going to use DMC or CXC. I don't know. I'm going to use the closest I have, and I'm pretty sure they use specialty floss for the model stitch, but I'm probably going to do it as close to charted. But yeah, I intend on making that for my mom. I'm just going to start it this year. No pressure to get it done this year. Like I said earlier, any new starts, I only have a goal of like 2,000 to 3,000 stitches. So, but I do want to get that started this year. So it's never really came up in conversation before, but about 2 years ago, I won a piece of linen from a giveaway on Fandom. They don't usually do giveaways if you're not familiar with Fandom. I think this was just a one-off, like one of the moderators just was trying to pass the stash. So I got this piece of linen. I won this piece of linen. It's Garland 28 count from Live and Die LA. And when I seen it, I was like, that's gorgeous, but I never win anything. So I was super excited when I won this. And it's big. I've never stitched on linen, and I thought I'll find something for that. And I still haven't found anything that I want to stitch on this. I can't find, I don't know what to stitch on this. I honestly, I have no idea what I want to do with this. It's a big piece of fabric. It's linen. I've never stitched on linen. I'm nervous. I'm nervous and I don't know what to put on it. But it's gorgeous and I don't want to get rid of it. A year after I won that piece of fabric, I purchased a piece of linen from Mislaid Pages. And this one is a 32 count. It's a 32 count piece of linen. It's not as large as the other one. It's smaller. And I had this idea of putting a specific autumn pattern or chart on this. Stitching a specific autumn chart on this. Unfortunately, this piece of fabric is too small for that, unless I did it over one, and I don't think that's even possible. So I wasn't going to attempt over one on 32 count linen. So I've been sitting on this piece of fabric for over a year, and what I decided to do is I eventually did the math on how big of a project stitch on that. And what I ended up coming up with is that I am going to use that piece of fabric to start Got the Morbs from Modern Folk Embroidery. I also want to work on the Poe chart from Modern Folk Embroidery. I definitely want to start that one this year as well. So, but that will go on, that'll go on not linen. I don't think it would look good on the green. It would probably fit, but I don't think it would look good on the green. I have two more new starts to talk to you about. And I just added those this month. Like after January, or after January had already started. These weren't even on my radar, and then I just had to add them. So I was watching Cross Stitch Globe, and Steph was showing one of her whips, and I think it's just in the last Flosstube that they posted. She was showing one of her whips. It was a free chart from Jedxstitch. I don't remember exactly what it's called. It's a gate, but it has beading on it. It was really interesting. It was really interesting enough for me to go to Jedxstitch's Ko-Fi and download it. But I wasn't sure if that was something I wanted to start right away. Then, browsing through, I'm not exactly sure. I know that I checked Jedx's Ko-Fi and her Etsy. So I don't know which came first, but there was the Cherry Magpie, which I thought looked very interesting and fun, and was very tempted to start it to buy it. But what really caught my eye was Persephone's Garden. That one called to me, so I added it to my wish list and then turned around and bought it. Like I didn't want it sitting on my wish list. I just purchased it, and I plan on starting it, preferably next month. Probably late February is what I'm thinking. So normally I like to do normally I would have waited until because it's Greek mythological themed, and I'm very seasonal. I am a seasonal stitcher, even though I don't like to admit it. Mythological and that sort of stuff is August. That's an August season for me, and but I don't want to wait till August, so I'm gonna start it next month. I have the fabric for it. I just have to dye it. In fact, I bought before even purchasing this pattern, earlier this month, I purchased a yard of 32 count, and I cut out the fabric for Wings of Change, Persephone's Garden, and the next new start I'm going to tell you. So I already cut them out, and I faux serged them, and now they're just ready to dye. In fact, if I have enough time today, I'm going to go ahead and get those dyed. So I've been trying to dye the fabric for a couple days now, and I just haven't had the time. So oh, and the I don't have the floss for it. I didn't realize that they had, I recognized the name, Jedxstitch. I recognized the name. I didn't realize they had a Flosstube, so I did watch their first Flosstube, which was a Whip Parade. And in that video, she showed the floss that she used for the model stitch, and it's Pirate Robin floss, and I'm kind of bummed because the floss looks gorgeous, but I can't afford Pirate Robin floss right now. I could do DMC, and it's only 5 colors. The project only has 5 colors, so I have 2 of the colors already, so I could start it immediately and then buy the rest of the floss the next time we have the money. So this chart has specialty stitches, and I've never done a chart with specialty stitches before, so this will be my first. So the last new start I have planned for this year will be my birthday new start. And I didn't decide to buy the chart until a couple weeks ago. It's what encouraged me to buy the 32 count fabric. So last month I decided to start Dark Queen of the Sea. Dark Queen of the Sea by Autumn Lane Stitchery was a SAL that came out the first year that I started stitching. So I seen everybody working on it. I thought it was gorgeous, but I felt like the pattern was going to be too advanced for me, and it required beading. And you needed special fancy fabric, and I just felt like it wasn't something that I was going to be able to do. So I watched all the progress on everybody working on it and just lived vicariously through them. Then Autumn Lane came out with the Dark Queen of the Forest, and I thought for sure that one, if any of them were going to speak to me, that one was going to speak to me. So I wanted to start that one, but then I started doubting myself, and I still would need to do fancy fabric, and it's going to require beading, so I didn't do that one either. So what motivated me to start this now is, one, Sammy J was talking about how Autumn Lane was saying that they intend on doing a Dark Queen of the Wind and Dark Queen of the Fire. I think they're doing all the elements. I think that's what it was. So they intend on putting out some more patterns. Great. So I definitely would want to do that, because if they're doing the elements, my zodiac sign, whatever, I'm an earth. I'm sorry, I'm wind, air. I'm an air type. So I thought that would be cool if I did that. But then so many people were showing their Dark Queen of the Sea during Whip Parade season, and I need to work on that. I need to, like, the gradient of the colors is just so gorgeous, and I'm going to start with the water, or sea. I'm going to start with the Dark Queen of the Sea. I'm going to start with her. Whenever they release the other one as a PDF, I will purchase that one as well. I have plenty. As long as they don't take too long to release that as a PDF, I still have plenty of fabric left over to be able to get that one started as well. And then if they take too long for that, then, I mean, because they're already doing, Autumn Lane's already doing a sal right now, so I don't think that they're going to be doing another Dark Queen anytime soon. So that's why I'm starting with the sea. So she will be a birthday start for me. And I bought all the floss on 123 Stitch. I bought all the floss already. I decided to put off the beads because it's probably going to be forever until I get around to doing the beads. So I don't need to waste the money on that. And then also, I would have gotten the Petite Treasure Braid, but none of the charted colors were in stock. And I'm sure I could have bought something similar, but I've never worked with Petite Treasure Braid, so I decided just to wait, and maybe maybe they'll have them in stock later on, or maybe I could decide on an alternative color to use. So February I will be starting my first beaded project and my first specialty stitch projects. Even though I won't be actually doing those sections, even though I won't be working on those sections for a while. So we're almost done. I don't know how long this video is because I had to stop a couple of times. So but yeah, we're almost done. And now I want to go over my wish list. Why am I making a wish list? Because I want to see what this is, because I want to document what I want right now, and then maybe next year I'll have lost interest in it and or moved on, or don't really have a desire to work on that anymore. For example, last year I really wanted a Year in the Woods series from Cottage Garden Sampling. Like, I was obsessed with that. I really wanted to work on it, but I couldn't decide which of the charts to work on because of my personality. I want to do the entire series, and I don't have time to do the entire series. So I eventually convinced myself that that series isn't for me right now. Maybe in the future, but not for now. So it's not on my wish list anymore. So I went through my Etsy wish list and my 123 wish list. So I'm not saying this is the only stuff that I want, but this is the main stuff that I want. That I can remember yesterday. And these are in no particular order. I don't have them. I'm going to probably start with Etsy and then move on to 123 Stitch. So, first off, I want to do something that's sew to stitch. I don't know what I want to do that's sew to stitch, because I could spend hours scrolling through sew to stitch's Etsy shop, and I can't make up my mind what I want to work on. But I want to start a sew to stitch. Heart Sampler by Bad Vibes. I just think that it's different. I want to work on it. I also love Butterfly Bouquet by Sprouting Lupin. I think that looks super fun. I also want to do the Schitt's Creek sampler from Boomerang Stitches. I would consider starting that one after finishing my video game sampler. I think I've been obsessed with When I Think of the Alphabet 2024 by Puntini since it was released back in March. It's still on my wish list. I thought maybe I would get over it by now, but I still really want to work on that one, even though it's huge. I Want Books Are Magic by Counting Puddles, also released last year. And Follow Your Heart by Tiny Modernist. That might have been last year's. I'm not sure. I can't remember right now. I want the Stephen King house from The Witchy Stitcher. That could... And all of these, I could picture myself starting them after finishing a project I already have. So I would totally start that one after completing Supernatural Sal. I still want to work on the Magical Mystery Tour series from Blackbird Designs, but I was putting it off because I feel like it needs to be on fancy fabric, like a linen. But I will be starting some 32 count even weave projects this year, so maybe that'll be fancy enough that I could start those on that fabric. The next thing I have listed is Mirabilia. It is a retired chart, but I'm still holding on to it as on my wish list because it's technically, I guess it would be my unicorn for my Mirabilia unicorn is Fairy Idol. I had mentioned this before in last year. I was really bummed to see that it had made Cross Stitch to the Globe's most expensive charts list. But in addition to Fairy Idol, I also really like Muka and Sleeping Princess. So those ones are on my wish list for 123 Stitch. I also want to start a year at Hawk Run from Carriage House Sampling. Also on my list is Turkey Day from Cottage Garden Samplings. It is part of a series, but it's a good standalone piece. Also Monster House from Satsuma Street. I'm usually not into all the bright colors of Satsuma Street designs, but I am drawn to the Monster House pattern. Maybe because I really like Halloween. I really like Halloween patterns, and this would be different. It's bright and colorful instead of a lot of 310. And the last thing I have listed on my wish list is, it's a series from Heartstring Samplery. I don't know what the series, if the series has a name, but of the set, I want to start with Whip It Good. They also have Hoop There It Is, Who Let the Frog Out, and what's the other one? Baby Got Backstitch. So I want to do the whole set. But I would start with Whip It Good. Yeah, and work my way through. So that's my current this year right now. That's what my wish list looks like. So I only have one more subject I want to touch on before I wrap up this video, and that is charts that I have in stash that I really want to kit up. It's just 3. It's not a long list. I have 3 patterns that I already own that it hurts my heart that I haven't started them yet. And I just want to give them like an honorable mention, I guess, is what this is. Like as soon as I could afford it, I want to kit these up. Even though I know that I have a handful of projects that still need floss. But these 3 projects, I want to start them as soon as I can. So one is Colorful Jungle Stroll. This is a HAED chart. I purchased it last summer with the intention of stitching it and gifting it to my sister. She knows about it, so it's not like a surprise, and it is huge. So it may be something I never finish. I think that's one of the reasons why I'm eager to get it started, is because it's so large that it's going to take me years to get through it. Number 2 is Night Owl. This is from Thread Geeks. I really thought that was going to be my new year, new start for this year. But I never ended up being able to purchase anything for it. No fabric, no floss. So I don't know when I'll be able to get around to starting that one. And it's the least important to me of the 3 on this list. Even though I think it's even though I love it and I want to start it. The other one, the last one on this list is You May. It's a Margaret Morales from Heaven and Earth Designs. This is one of the first charts I ever purchased from HAED back in March of 2022. I really thought this was going to be my birthday start for this year. Yeah, it was intended. I really thought this was the year I was going to start it, and I just haven't had the finances to be able to kit it up. So I really, of the 3, that's the one that I really wanted to start this year the most. But yeah, these are the 3 charts that I want to start as soon as I can. But who knows, when I do this next year, maybe I'll have moved on and I will change my mind. Because back in 2022, the one chart, I don't think I've ever said this before. So when I very first started cross stitching, I was going through Heaven and Earth Designs website, and that's when I discovered the 4 houses from Randall Spangler, the winter house, the fall house, the spring house, and the summer house. Yes, they have other names, but that's how I refer to them. They're season houses. Um, for the longest time, I had the winter house hanging behind me. Um, I own all of those houses by diamond painting. I own all the houses except for the fall house because they haven't. Diamond Art Club hasn't released it yet. Hurry up, Diamond Art Club. That's the only house I'm missing. And it's the one that I love the most. Anyways, before Diamond Art Club released these as diamond paintings, I seen them on the Heaven and Earth design. I saw them on the HAED website, and I saved them all to my wish list. And my intention was that I was going to work on each house during their respective months or seasons. That was the plan. That was my big goal. I wanted to work on each house during the correct season. And then I went to price check. I went to like see how much it was going to cost and realized it was going to be so expensive. And so I put it off and I didn't kit up anything for like another year or two. I think Lost Soul, my Selina Fenech was the first full coverage that I really invested in. And that I started last year. So, but yes, the Autumn House is my favorite house of all. And I wanted to start that. And I have the chart. I do have the chart. I could start it, but I already own the other houses on diamond painting, so I'd rather just diamond paint them because diamond painting is faster than cross stitch. So all that to say that those were my intended charts and stash that I wanted to start, and I never got around to it. And now they're not on my list anymore because I own them I own their diamond paintings. So okay. I know that I've been talking for 2 hours. I do not know how long this is all going to be after I edit it, but I've been talking for 2 hours and I'm hungry, so I'm going to let you go and I'm going to enjoy this rainy weekend and get this edited. I don't know when it'll get posted. It may be, I don't know. It might take me all weekend to edit it because it's long and I've got a lot of pictures to insert. I've got 3 appointments next week. So, but I'm still hopeful that I could get the Monopoly video going, at least started, because I really want to get it moving. I knew how I wanted to play my Wipagories game since November, and since before Thanksgiving. Like I knew how I was going to do this, and I just haven't been able to get it going. So next week I've got 3 appointments, and then I have my birthday. I think my birthday's on Friday, in fact. So I've got appointments all week, and I have my birthday. But so if I don't get it recorded, my Wipagories video recorded on Monday, I won't be able to get another chance until the next Monday. No, I'm just thinking out loud. Anyways, I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you for watching. If you watched the entire video, thank you for watching. Happy stitching, please, happy stitching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.